don't know why people have problems with basic intelligence and decorum. UK is not in a position to talk about character. What gives him that moral high ground to talk recklessly and unintelligently? The media, what is the media looking for? The media, they are the ones who go to interview him. They are the ones who collect money to put him on the air.
Brown envelopes. You know what I mean? Big brown fat envelopes. They keep flying high up in the media space in our world today, especially in Nigeria. No be me talk am o. Anyway, another name for brown envelope in the Nigerian media space is simply bribery. No more, no less. Na bribery then they call brown envelope. Again, and this is very heavy, very sad as well. These are not my words, so no be me talk am. This was a huge allegation by the eminent mobile knowledge of our time, the erudite literary scholar, the historical, legal, and all-rounder himself, the great Dr. Ruben Abati. He lashed out on corruption in the Nigerian media space in the morning show program of Arise this week. Did you miss the program? Did you watch it? Hear him yourself. Hear him speak. I'll be here.
Nyesom Wike, right? That's his name.
Yes.
The
Minister of
yeah. That's the title he currently bears. Now, he is saying that if Mr. Peter Obi comes back to the PDP will be destroyed because Peter Obi doesn't have the character, having condemned PDP as a rotten party, to come back to the PDP. Wike is not in a position to talk about character. Okay? He is not the one to talk about character. In fact, if he talks about character, he should question his own character. I don't know why people have problems with basic intelligence and decorum. He goes on television and he says, Peter Obi doesn't have character. Peter Obi left PDP and went to Labour Party. Now he's in ADC. In fact, it is Wike himself that destroyed the party. And he also says President Jonathan should not come and run on the platform of the PDP because he's a statesman and all of that. He's not in a position to advise President Jonathan, just as he has made it clear that nobody can advise him. These are some of the issues in the last 24 hours. Okay? And who is he to determine the destiny of the People's Democratic Party when he is already in another political party? And I blame the media. The media gives him platform to disparage other political opponents. Yesterday he was talking about Peter Obi, he was talking about President Jonathan, he was talking about Nasir El-Rufai. What gives him that moral high ground to talk recklessly and unintelligently? Because the media, what is the media looking for? The media, they are the ones who go to interview him, they are the ones who collect money to put him on the air. If he's talking about the FCT, yes, fine. But if he's disparaging other political opponents, the media has an obligation to give all the other persons that have been disparaged to have a right of reply. So we should not create a situation whereby, for monetary reasons, the Nigerian media is sucking up to a minister of the Federal Republic who, in my view, is overreaching himself.
Now you've heard him. You heard him yourself in case you missed out in the episode where this was discussed. You see, corruption in the media space is a serious threat to Nigeria's survival as a country. I hope you know. It's a big issue with many dimensions to it. Briefly want to look into some of these dimensions of why corruption is endemic and rooted in Nigerian mass media, especially the traditional media practice. The first and the major one, which is popular amongst all and sundry, is the concept of brown envelope journalism. You know about it, you've heard it. Clearly, you've heard about it. You see, brown envelope journalism is the most talked about problem in the practice of journalism in Nigeria today. The concept of brown envelope ravages the entirety of the practice largely. Well, some might say allegedly, some might say it's not in the entire practice, but largely it's a problem. It's a problem to confront. It's a problem to tackle headlong. As you heard Dr. Abati talked about it just now. It's such a situation where money is put in an envelope for the practitioners of media, for journalists basically, to either silence them or to twist the story or to expand it, exaggerate it, or make it look or concoct some facts. He who blows the piper dictates the tones. When someone pays you, your conscience is somewhat bought. You remember when the church of TB Joshua fell the other day, a few years ago, something about 10 years ago, And then some money was put, something around 50,000 was allegedly put in envelopes for journalists. And a particular journalist returned it when the man that bribed them came out to say, okay, now that you have had what you what you've got with you, what have you got to say? And majority of the journalists there, you know, they shouted in happiness. But this man came around and said, no, he returned the money. And of course, nothing came out of it. No investigation, nothing. So this is a big issue. And this is exactly what Dr. Abati was talking about, that because they pay journalists, they can easily kowtow to politicians and literally lick their boots, all because of fat envelopes, now fat transfers. Although, to be honest, very many organizations are really fighting it, news organizations, and I'm talking in particular with organizations like Punch, Premium Times. Yes, to the best of my knowledge, they are fighting it. They don't want their journalists to do it, and they pay them, they reward them handsomely. Quite different from very many of other newspaper news organizations. They don't care. In fact, from the day one you are getting your employment letter and you are grumbling in the newsroom that what have you got to do with this kind of salary? They are telling you right there that no, it is not about your salary, it is what you can make on the field. This is reality. This is what is obtainable.